Welcome back to Call Me By Your Game. This is the podcast where I, your host, Connor McCabe, bring on a guest to hear from them about a meaningful video game from a particular moment in their life. On the show, we normally talk about what made playing that game special and what they remember from the time that they had that, significant moment with the game, the context in their life. But this is a very special episode, folks. This is not a one-on-one intimate interview. I've got,
It's not,
which is the great thing.
Not?
No, that's what's fun about it.
I thought me and July were just gonna talk.
Yeah, I was just gonna make sure that you're doing it right.
I thought you were just introing, this one-on-one chat with me and Matt here.
No, I know. And I just sort of shut off my Zoom camera for an hour and let you guys go. Honestly, it'd probably be a more entertaining podcast.
No.
So it's not a bad idea.
I don't know. I think July and I are pretty tired.
You know what? I'll continue to be the guiding light for you then. We've got the Christmas decorations up. There's probably a menorah lying around somewhere. Folks, this is our holiday gaming memories episode. This is something that I did way back when the podcast first began. I was telling our lovely guests today, right before we started rolling, that 5 episodes into the podcast, I decided I wanted a holiday episode. So I literally put a blanket over me and my computer and talked into my computer's internal microphone at my old apartment and listed my top 5 holiday gaming memories. And it's honestly a pretty nice little intimate episode if you like to hear someone talk to themselves the whole time. So go back in the podcast feed and find that. But today I brought on a couple guests to make that far more entertaining, and so I'm just not repeating stuff. We're joined by a couple of absolute sweeties. First and foremost, he's a little stinker. He may have been on the naughty list, but we're doing our best to get him on the nice list. July Diaz, welcome to the podcast.
And I was hoping that wasn't my intro. Hello.
I was so nervous about it. I was really I don't want anybody to be on the naughty list. I think the list, if we're gonna just criticize Santa for a second, I think the list is bad.
Yes.
But I wasn't hoping that July was on the naughty list, but I was really hoping it wasn't me.
I was interested in Santa's new list. I don't know if you saw this, because Santa, there was a big strike in Hollywood. I don't know if listeners know about this. The writers were on strike. The actors were on strike. Santa was also on strike. And this year, he's not only coming out with the nice and naughty list, he's actually in charge of the blacklist. So that's the list I want.
Oh my goodness.
Cool. Yeah, that's actually huge.
Gosh, in the hustle and bustle of Hollywood, there's so much news, and I must have just missed that. So July, I'm really glad that you made me privy to it. Thank you.
Of course, you're welcome.
I'm just trying to get on Santa's comedians you should know list. I can never seem to get on it. And I feel like if I could just, it's usually people that people already know.
Yeah.
So maybe I could really benefit from being on it.
Totally. What does Carl Tart really get out of being on this list for the 10th year in a row?
That's who I would go after first. But I mean,
certainly.
But there's plenty. I've never been on TV before. People should know who I am so I could be on TV.
Right. It's interesting Santa's comedians you should know list includes real people, but also the Grinch is on there.
The Grinch is on there. The reindeer that ran grandma over is on it. Yep. Who else is there? Mr. Heat Miser.
Oh, the Heat Miser is always up there.
Yeah. And you know what? It kind of sucks.
We've got also, I think
Santa
James,
puts himself on there too.
James Caan or Caan. How do you ever pronounce his
James
last
Caan from Elf.
Yeah.
And other films.
Yes, it's wild.
James Caan from The Godfather 2 is on the comedians you should know list.
Unfair.
It's BS.
You missed me with that, Santa, is what I have to say to you. I know
I got a list for Santa that I'm going to put him on.
It's called the Spankings list.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a big old spanking on his big ass.
Well, speaking of, spankings on big asses, I got my other guest who's been talking, but we don't know who you are technically. It's Matt Apodaca.
Hello. Greetings and salutations and happy holidays to one and all.
happy holidays right back at you, pal.
I'm sorry I talked too much.
Yeah, as long as you just sort of like sit in that shame for the rest of the podcast, I think I will be really happy. I brought these two together, and by together I mean here on the podcast, because I want to hear from them. We're going to be doing a lot of fun stuff. Anything.
We are kind of tired, like we mentioned earlier, so we're going to need you to do a lot of the heavy lifting this episode, I think.
I am prepared for that, like without a doubt, for sure.
It's not even that I didn't do that much today. It's just more that, like, you know how like when it gets dark early, I'm just kind of more tired now for some reason.
Oh, I fully understand that. And it's reasonable.
Yeah.
We got a lot going on. We're staring down the barrel of the holidays. We're all like, hey, how many days of work do we have left?
This 12-gauge barrel of the holidays I'm staring down.
Are you telling me getting together with your families doesn't feel like looking down the barrel of a shotgun?
Let me tell you something. When I go back home, it feels like my childhood room is actually a padded room. And I'm wearing a straight jacket. I feel crazy when I'm over there.
Gosh, don't I know that feeling. July, any examples you want to give?
Yeah, my childhood room is sort of like the room from Willy Wonka, where it's just all my grandparents are in a giant bed.
Big bed.
A giant, huge, big bed. And we're all eating chocolate and not... just leaving all the wrappers on the bed. It's just a mess. It's a big mess.
It's a big, nasty mess. Do you think those grandparents ever did a little swap?
Matt, that's all I was thinking about as soon as July brought it
like
up.
Like a wife swap, but for grandparents? What do you mean?
Wife, husband swap, does whoever. Doesn't matter.
I was thinking about it. None of them are related.
Yeah.
All four of them come from different families, so they could do whatever they want.
That's true.
They could do this. Wait, no, this is true. You're right. They could do whatever they want.
Yes. Yeah.
It's allowed.
So I think I'm hearing the clickety clack of keyboards of fan fiction being written out there, just stealing this idea of gold.
Yeah.
What if the grandparents from Willy Wonka? Speaking of Wonka, I mean, I think we got a movie we all got to see over the holidays. I think, speaking of Timmy.
Yeah,
Timmy Shales,
Ferrari,
big video game guy.
Is Ferrari out?
Christmas. We were talking about Christmas. Was that what you were referring to, Connor, or were you talking about Wonka still?
I was still talking about Wonka, the movie Wonka. Yeah,
yeah. Chalamet. He's a big gamer, huh?
The two last name movies are out.
Yeah, I actually had Chalamet booked for this podcast, but he couldn't make it because he was getting lunch with Jeff Keighley. I
Yeah,
it's just kind of weird because he said he would do it, and then he's like, "Oh, I totally forgot." So
it would actually be really cool if he did it, just because he was in the movie "Call Me by Your Name."
there would be a lot of great connections there, and kind of like Santa's, comedians you should know list, and doing a lot for the smaller comedians. That would do a lot for this podcast, and so fingers crossed that Timmy's gonna listen to this and maybe hop aboard. But folks, we're here to talk holidays. We're here to talk video games with two of my favorite guys. Anything that we refer to, or I guess plug today, not refer to, I'm taking that back. July will take that to a place. Any plugs that we have today, you can look in the show notes.
I'll take that to a place?
You'll take it to I'm just afraid, you're like, I referenced this, it better be in the show notes.
Here goes July, haunted yet again by the naughty list. It's not, he didn't do anything.
It's mostly July's probably on the nice list. I'm just like painting him as a villain.
Hey, honestly, that's fine. I'll take it. Someone needs to be the villain. I'll be that role.
You are a bit of a bad boy, so it kind of works. But again, anything we plug, whether it's social medias, podcasts, other stuff, you can find a link in the show notes wherever you're listening, whether it's on YouTube or a podcast, catcher of your choice. And also, if you're following us or watching this on YouTube, follow the channel, check us out where you listen to podcasts. We have a bunch of great stuff everywhere. Folks, before we get into the main event a little later, which is our top 5 holiday gaming memories, I do want to talk about what we're looking forward to in the next few weeks. I want to, look forward before we look back. I assumed Christmas might be on the list, but when it comes to gaming and really, I mean, anything that sort of surrounds that, whether it is going home, or a tradition that you have, or a cookie or a candy that you're going to eat. I want to hear from you all. July. This also, I want this to include, like, if you have games you're looking forward to playing or something you want Sandy to bring you, feel free. July, is there anything that you're looking forward to the next few weeks when it comes to holidays and gaming?
Oh, of course. I want to finish off a game that me personally think is my personal game of the year, Tears of the Kingdom. I want to finally finish that bad boy off because I sunk a lot of hours in it, and I was just like, so many games came out this year, so I wanted to partake in a bunch of games, and that kind of sat back, so I want to get back into that. But currently, right now, I'm playing through The Quarry, and I'm
oh hell yes, dude!
I'm halfway through it, so I'm definitely gonna want to finish that by the end of the year, which is it's coming up. So I'm having a blast with that. Yeah.
What are you playing that on, July?
PlayStation 5.
Okay.
It's one of the it's on PlayStation Plus right now, right? Like it's one of the featured games, I think.
Yeah.
I got that game actually last year for Christmas.
Well, okay, full circle.
Yeah, and I played through it and I absolutely loved it, and I've been meaning to give it another spin, but I might wait till around Halloween because it's spooky, you know.
Sure.
I loved it. I thought that was such a fun, cool game.
Yeah, I love any game that sort of has like multiple different paths for you to choose, and yeah, there's a stacked cast in there. We got, David Arquette. We got the guy from Detective Pikachu, Justice Smith, I believe.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and a ton of other people. Brenda Song,
Skylar Gizondo.
Yes.
Wow. July, this sounds really great. I have a question about your Tears of the Kingdom journey.
Yeah.
Has it been so long that you're not even sure where you left off, or can you tell me kind of where you were?
So we talked about this pre-pod. I don't remember anything anymore.
Just in general?
Oh, yeah, we were talking about how we don't remember anything.
Yes.
So especially with a big game like this, where even if I stop playing something for 2 weeks, I will totally forget where I am. I might be able to kind of context clue it. It might take me a bit, but off the top of my head, I don't even know where Link is. Right now.
He could be in the Mushroom Kingdom for all you know.
He could be there.
Well, he's not. No, he couldn't. He's not there.
I mean, he could be at the Americana. We don't know.
That's sort of more likely to me than him being in the goddamn Mushroom Kingdom.
Then him being in another video game realm is less likely.
Yeah, you can see him hanging around the real world, but not Mushroom Kingdom.
Yeah, sort of like, looking into Din Tai Fung, but being like, I don't know, the lines are long.
And Din Tai Fung is at the Galleria now, dude. You got to catch up. It's gone. It's
Maybe
not at
I'm
the
more
Americana
likely to
anymore.
be in the Mushroom Kingdom. That's probably what the case is here. July, I feel like that's so fair. If 2 weeks away from a game is kind of the cutoff point of, being able to fully like recall and sink back into it without some, like without an effort to get back into it.
Yeah. I'm also juggling Sonic Superstars, and I'm like, I got 2 more zones left in there.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. And I just got a bunch of stuff over the holidays because there was a bunch of sales, and I doubled up on a game that I already own twice, I believe, which is Persona 5 Royal.
Oh my goodness.
I finally got it for Switch because it was on sale finally on Switch. Will I ever play it? I don't know, because there's just so many other things, and I also got Persona 3 and 4, which I've never played before. So I want to get into those at some time soon. Yeah.
Dang, you got a loaded plate there. Plate of Christmas goodies, it sort of sounds like.
I do.
It's tough when you want to get into a series and each game is like, okay, well, like it's going to take you like 80 hours to play this one.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a lot different than hopping into like a few years ago. I played, I don't know, maybe 5 Metroid games in a year, and those are like, I don't know, if you're fast at them, they're like 6 hours, but me, it's like 12, and that's, blink of an eye, 12 hours is gone.
Yeah, absolutely.
July, I want to dig in a little more with you before we, touch on some of what Matt's looking forward to for the holidays. And that is like, what are some dishes? What are some traditions that you have? Or whether it's like going to the movies or eating a specific cookie that you're looking forward to.
Okay, so you brought up this cookie thing twice.
I really want to hear someone talk about cookies. That's all I can think about.
Do you have a cookie that you did you have a cookie tradition? Because I don't. I don't ever think of, because I see like gingerbread cookie is like a holiday thing, right? Like I've never had that as a tradition. I've never made a gingerbread cookie home.
Oh, that's not my thing either. There's like a certain sect of my family back in the Midwest that they are so into gingerbread houses, and I've done it, but it's not worth it to me. And I don't get that much entertainment out of it. Matt, are you a gingerbread house person?
No, but I like it. I like gingerbread, but we don't really do that. But because we gotta make this. I'd rather just eat the cookie. I don't want to make the whole. And then I hate those like little gumdrop candies because they're like red and green.
Yeah,
and I want them to be different flavors, but they're usually like mint.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Thanks. So no gingerbread house people here, but as far as cookies go, July, yes, I think my easy favorite like holiday cookie, Christmas cookie is cutouts, just like regular cookie dough, cut them out, put frosting on them, like Santa Claus, candy cane, snowman, whatever it is. Me and my sister every year, we make these, what are they called? I think they're called peanut butter blossoms. It's like a peanut butter sort of cookie dough that is coated with sugar that we put like a Hershey's Kiss in the middle of.
Oh, yeah.
You know those?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like a big tradition I have. That's something I'm definitely looking forward to.
That sounds good. Yeah.
When I go back. Yeah.
I tend to also, now that I'm actually thinking about it, I do have a cookie tradition, and I always, for the past couple of years, I'm rewatching Empire for my favorite character, Cookie.
Oh, and that's usually a holiday thing for you?
It is, and then usually that's when I'll bring out the Pillsbury dough, and that's when I'll bake my chocolate chip cookies to put out for Cookie from Empire. No, Cookie from Empire.
Okay. So wait, that's who visits you?
Mm-hmm. She doesn't so much visit me, but I wish she would visit me.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, you got to get off this list.
I know. I need to get off the list.
I'm rooting for you, pal.
Thank you.
I don't know if it's going to happen, but...
Thank you. Other than that, traditional things like food, I say my family does a traditional ham dinner with all the accoutrements. If I'm saying that correctly. If I'm using that. Yeah. A cookie monster, yeah.
I think that's how it's pronounced.
Yeah, that's typically what we do. And then
are you like gaming a ton too? Are you sinking in?
I try to catch up on all the stuff from the year or like the recent pickups that I get on sale. But I'm also going out and checking out the holiday films.
Oh, yes.
I probably will go see Ferrari. I might see Wonka. Is Mean Girls coming out?
Oh, the musical?
Yeah,
good question.
I think
couldn't tell you when that's
it's coming out in January.
Oh, weird.
Yeah,
I feel like that'd be a great Christmas double feature with Wonka because I guess Wonka is also a musical.
Yes, also a secret musical, which I should have guessed because the original movie has plenty of songs in it.
But I don't consider that movie a musical.
Sometimes movies just have songs.
Yeah.
Like that's you know what I mean? Like it's I feel like sometimes a musical is like a different thing.
Like Toy Story has songs in it, but I don't consider it a musical.
Right. Or I would even I would allow characters in a movie to sing a song and not count that as a musical.
Yeah, it's kind of like High School Musical. I also don't consider that a musical. I think that's probably just a movie with songs.
No, that's it. Well,
that says musical in the title.
That's insane, Connor.
Well, there's plenty of things that say it in the title that aren't the thing, you know?
Like what? What do you mean?
Like High School Musical, for example.
So the same example.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Matt, looking forward to this holiday season, pal.
I
what
really
are you
am
looking
too.
forward to?
Right in the last couple of, I guess in the last week, and by the time this comes out, this will be old news at this point, but the Final Fantasy 16 DLC came out. I took that down, loved that.
Ooh.
And I rolled credits on God of War Ragnarok Valhalla as well.
Oh wow.
And
I've heard that's incredible.
It's unbelievable. It is like it sort of came out of nowhere and sort of like made me be like, oh yeah, like this game that I haven't even played in a year is maybe one of the best games I've ever played. It's like it's so good, and I loved Ragnarok quite a bit, but the way that Valhalla reimagined the gameplay and added satisfying story stuff for longtime God of War fans was just like, and for free, no less.
Yeah.
Just really unbelievable. I'm still playing it. Like,
how did it feel? Taking the break and getting back into like the mechanics, was it easy?
So that's an interesting one too, because I think it took me like 2 rounds. Like not 2 full runs, but like 2 encounters for me to get it, because I like forgot that with those games my instinct is the face buttons are going to be my inputs and like for attack and stuff, but they haven't been that since the original games. Like it has switched to R1 and R2.
Yeah, I love those mini games from those original games. By the way, those were actually, Connor was saying those are his favorite.
He said those are some of his favorite games.
Just generally,
actually,
games.
I mean, I know we've been doing these top 10 episodes every so often, and I leave them off the list. That's just because I assume everyone knows they're my top.
That's number 1. Yeah. The first 3, and maybe I think maybe the PSP games.
Oh yeah,
have it too. But yeah, I just was like, I liked this as much as any of the games that I loved this year. I did finish Tears of the Kingdom. I finished that back in, when did that come out? In May?
Yeah.
I think I finished that a couple months after. Like I took care of it.
October 31st.
I probably finished it by Halloween.
You joke, but I did play that game through August.
Yeah, I think I was done sooner. I had to be done with it because then something else came out. Yeah, but something else came out that I was like, I have to play this. It might have been Final Fantasy 16 actually that made me finish Tears of the Kingdom. But I'm hoping to. I'm in Act 3 right now of Baldur's Gate 3 as well, and I'd like to put that to bed. I'd like to be done with that.
Let it rest.
Take a long rest. Get full health. Get my spells back. Yeah. But I could see myself playing that game consistently for the rest of my life. Like, it is like such an incredible, like, dang. I wanted to re-roll a character. I took like a month and a half off from it and came back and was like, do I just like start over? Like, do I? And I was like at the end of Act 2 and I was like, should I just like start over? And then I didn't do that. I just kept going. But I want to play a different character. I want to get in there. I want to be bad. I want to do all sorts of crazy stuff in that game. I loved that game so much, and I actively love it. But I'm looking forward to playing. I got Alan Wake 2. I got Alan Wake pilled pretty recently.
Dude, you and me both, pal.
And yeah, I played.
What caused you to play the first one?
I think I just wanted. I think because I was hearing raves of the second one, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna just jump into 2.
Sure, yeah.
I gotta see if this is for me at all to begin with. So I just like happened to pick up. I had the remaster already on probably from being a PlayStation Plus subscriber, and I started playing that, and was like, oh, like this is not exactly what I thought it was, but I really, really enjoyed it, despite not loving like Twin Peaks and like things that inspired it, like very clearly. Yeah. But really, really enjoyed it, and was like, okay, now I'm gonna jump. I gotta just go straight into 2. And then they dropped those 2 DLCs that I mentioned, and I was like, I'm just never gonna play this. Yeah. Just like not like I'll have like about a week where I can maybe devote some time to it, but it would be nice to start and finish it before the end of the year, but I don't know if I'll be able to do it that quickly. But I'm excited to play that, and I keep hearing stuff about Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, and
really,
yeah, like people, well, the criticism that I hear of it doesn't work for me, and the main criticism is it's the Ubisoft formula. It's just a reskinned Far Cry, but I've never played that. So people are like, I like Far Cry, but this Avatar game is just a reskinned version of that. I'm like, okay, well, like it sounds good then. Like it sounds like it's probably good.
So you're telling me Giancarlo Esposito is in this Avatar game reskinned?
Yeah, they put him in it, and he's like,
it's just him
doing all sorts of Giancarlo Esposito stuff. But he became blue because of the blue meth.
Oh, that checks out. Okay.
And
not a lot of people know when you eat that meth, it turns you blue.
It turns you Na'vi, yeah. But I've heard that the thing that I've heard in particular is that once you are on Pandora and you're like walking around Pandora, it's one of the best looking games of the year.
Wow,
and
I've heard the same, yeah.
That it looks amazing, that it has cool stuff, and it is just like it came out at a weird time because it was supposed to come out around the time of the second movie, but then got delayed. So now it's out a year and change later, and like people, if it was out when The Way of Water came out, I think it would have made a bigger splash.
Yeah,
but because
pun intended.
I pardon the pun. I did not mean that.
Thank goodness.
I like it stricken from the record. Honestly, I'm like deeply ashamed that I even said that.
Okay,
I'll see if Jeremy can strike that from the record.
Please just get it. Just get it out. Just get it out.
For you, anything.
But
just the long bleep will help there. I think.
Yeah, I think maybe whatever your instinct is, longer.
Yes.
Without
a doubt.
Just in case. But I kind of want to mess with it, but I think I'm gonna wait for a sale.
Okay,
because that's
a good idea.
That's a good sale game, I think.
For sure, I think it might be a really fun technical showcase and look gorgeous, as you're saying. And it sort of seems like one of those licensed games that if you like the world, you're probably going to enjoy this.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like hearkening back to the licensed like movie tie-ins of old, even though this isn't like, oh, we are telling the story of the movie.
Right.
And
this actually, I think, takes place in between the first and second movies, if I'm correct. Yeah.
Dang. Pretty nice.
So maybe we get to see Payakan. I don't know. We'll see. But I can only hope.
I couldn't tell you what Payakan is. Is that a character from the second movie?
Oh, Connor, it's only the whale.
Oh no. Okay, well then we better.
And it's
see
not.
that.
No, it's not.
I
Brendan
love
Fraser
Brendan Fraser.
either. No,
Oh,
no,
it's
it's
not.
not. It's not him. It's
You
not
saw
the whale.
you saw July moving there as quick as possible.
I didn't even
That's so
see.
good.
I felt it. I
Yeah.
just sort of
Yeah,
knew
it was
that-
out there. Yeah.
Matt, how about some like non-gaming holiday things you're looking forward to? Is there anything?
You know, I have a couple of like my holiday traditions have like changed in the last couple of years. You know, like it used to be all just my family, right? But now as an engaged fellow, I have, you know, now a second family that I get to like, you know, take part in their things as well. And so one of the things that I'm looking forward to is we're having a joint Christmas Eve, which is pretty cool. Where both families are getting together.
Dude, I've always wanted to have a joint Christmas Eve. You know what I'm
Dude,
saying?
okay, I keep saying things that mean different things,
Oh, okay.
and I don't.
July just got there.
Yeah, and I don't mean that kind. I mean like.
Okay.
Like together.
I
Like
see.
everybody's like going to be joined together, which is going to be really
My
fun
bad.
and really exciting.
Apologies.
No, it's you have nothing to be sorry for. If anything, I'm sorry. But
Okay,
The-
apology accepted.
oh, okay.
Anyway, you're having a joint.
We're having a joint thing, not Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be that's gonna be really nice. On Christmas morning, a tradition that has held since I was truly a child. We go to my grandmother's house, my grandparents' house, and we have like a Christmas breakfast there, and it goes nuts. It goes crazy. We have tamales. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
There's like eggs, bacon. There's like hot chocolate, Mexican hot chocolate. And now that we're of age, yeah, there's splashes of brandy in there, dog. You know,
Okay.
it gets a little wild at 9 a.m. at the Apodaca house, okay? And it gets a little toasty. We have a little hot chocolate. It's pretty fun. We'll have, you know, some pan dulce. We'll have some, we'll go crazy. We'll just go nuts. And then we open a bunch of presents, and then we're like done by like 11. And then I'm ready to just like chill out all day. And then that's when possibly fall asleep, maybe hand halfway down the front of the pants, you know,
Okay, now we're talking.
I was wondering where.
Al Bundy style.
Sure.
Why is he doing that?
Make a few remarks to the shoes, the people trying to buy shoes from you. You're gonna be doing.
Yeah, maybe, you know, I'm certainly going to be making some remarks. That's kind of like my main thing, is that I'm always making some kind of remark.
Yeah.
But
Why does he do that? Was your question about?
what is the purpose? Like, I don't really get the.
Does he work at a shoe store?
He does. Yes.
No, I get that, but I don't get the like hand in the pants.
I think
sort of
that's
like
just,
touching his like pubes.
I think that's just a universal like
I'm
blue
zonked.
collar like
Yeah.
I'm like coming back home from a hard day of work. I gotta
Yeah.
feel my pubes a little bit and just relax.
It's like, are they still there after all that hard
He's like,
work?
I worked so hard, my pubes probably all fell off.
Like, don't
Yeah.
you guys have heard that phrase, right? Like, you work so hard, your pubes fell off.
I
I
grind my
have.
pubes to the bone.
You know what? I hope to join you in that hand just slightly into my pants state.
Yeah, but my real answer is that I think on that day, on Christmas Day, night, I think we're gonna watch the Monk movie, and I'm pretty excited about it. Actually,
Oh, is that coming out?
that's out already, but
Oh,
we've been
it's out
holding
already.
it. We've been holding on to it for family viewing because we know
Wow.
that like nobody is going to really object.
Yeah.
To the Monk movie, and
Wow.
it's gonna be like, this is fine. We like this. We love Monk already. Nobody's gonna be upset. This is gonna be
Yeah,
good.
we,
It's maybe
we
a
love
little,
Monk here. Connor, do you love Monk?
Oh man, I don't know if I love anyone more.
I truly am a big Monk. I love Monk.
Oh, I love it too. I love the theme song.
There's
Randy
a jungle
Newman.
out there. Yeah.
See,
I
that's
truly.
the good stuff.
And then he's like, here's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
You know what
What is-
show I really like? Dragoon.
Dragoon?
You like the show Monk. I like the show Dragoon or Cleric. Cleric is also like another show.
Okay.
Oh, I
Connor's
see.
on his dork shit right now. You're on your Final Fantasy IV shit right now, aren't you, dog?
I'm on something of that sort. Yeah, perhaps. Speaking of my dork shit, I'm toying with the idea. I've never done this before, but I'm toying with the idea, and this is when having a PlayStation Portal would be great, but of taking my PS5 on the drive home with me.
Oh, interesting.
What is making the strongest case for me not doing that is I don't really have like a good sort of place for me to just plug it in and play where I wouldn't be taking over a whole room sort of thing. Like the room I stay at my parents' place now, which is my former childhood bedroom, it doesn't...
Is it a workout room now?
It's actually kind of like... it's kind of like that room in Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory where like the grandparents are sleeping.
Oh, okay. I see. The big bed's there.
Is that familiar?
Very
it's kind of like that. But there's not even a TV in that room, so... Because basically, I am...
Don't need it. You got a lot of things to do, those grandparents, without the TV.
So many. They all, especially when they're swapping around like that.
Yeah. Do you have a backbone?
I don't have a backbone.
Do you have an iPad?
I don't have any devices, it turns out.
Because I was going to say, iPad, controller, and USB-C cable does you pretty well in a pinch. When do you leave?
I leave Thursday. So
I have a backbone if you want to borrow it. Like you could just like take it with you.
I might hit you up about that.
Because it works pretty good.
That's very kind of you to offer. What in the holiday spirit already, Matt?
What can I say? I'm working backwards here. I'm not trying to get on this list that July's on.
It's true.
I'm trying to be good.
Because my big thing is that I'm really close to finishing Alan Wake 2. I've got 1 chapter for Alan and like 2.5 chapters for Saga, and I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. Like I've also been Alan Wake pilled as well, Matthew. I thought the first one was like good-ish, like not amazing, but I liked it. And 2, I think is like a bit of a masterpiece, if I do say so myself.
I almost said masterpiece, and then you said it.
There we are. If you're listening to this episode, our Game of the Year stuff has already come out, so you will have heard me not shut up about that game, even though my Game of the Year was the Egg game from I Think You Should Leave.
Classic game.
Thank you, Matt. It did not win our Game of the Year. You'll have to listen to find out what did, which is a travesty. But anyway, I'm trying to finish that game, but I think what I'm going to do as far as gaming goes is I got a game earlier this year that's still shrink wrapped. It's over here in this stack of Switch games. Octopath Traveler 2.
Oh, I have that in shrink wrap as well.
You do? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have it, shrink wrap or not.
Oh, gosh. Well, first of all, I've heard it's way better than the first one, and I really, really enjoyed the first one, despite not finishing it. And folks, I love a JRPG. If I could just sink into like a JRPG over the holidays, that sounds ideal to me.
Yeah.
That's cozy. Yeah, that's nice.
It's cozy Orlean, I would say.
It is. And he's out there listening right now. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to, gaming whenever I can when I'm visiting the folks, making cookies. Gonna go to a basketball game when I'm home. Gonna see my beloved Sacramento Kings play the Minnesota Timberwolves in Sacramento. So, yeah, got a lot to look forward to in the next week or so. Hey, Daphne. Folks, I want to pivot at this point to our main event today. It's why we're here, our holiday gaming memories. So what we're going to do is I'm basically going to go back and forth between my two lovely guests here and have them share, up to 5 gaming memories that they have. This could be, anything from a great gift you received one holiday to just a memory of playing a game. Really, it's up to interpretation. July. I want to start with you.
Okay.
You said you have a 1 through 5, correct?
I do, yes.
Can we start? I want to go from 5 to 1. Can we start with your 5th?
Of course. So you did just explain that this doesn't necessarily have to be like a video game that I played, but just like a nice gift or gesture like that happened around the holiday season. So my number 5 on my list is the handshake that I got from both my parents.
Oh, do you remember which year this was?
It was my first Christmas.
Oh, your first Christmas ever. In this holiday gaming memory is the handshake from both of your parents.
And
you
I
wanna
know,
dive into this.
Yeah, and
Was
I
it
know
simultaneous, like one in each hand, or was like did they have to wait?
it was both, and it was like how Connor just did. It was like crisscross applesauce.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And I know I had said that I have a foggy memory, but this is actually one of the memories that it's very crystal clear. And just for the record, I was in diapers when this happened.
Of course.
You know who else has a foggy memory? Matt Murdock.
Okay, I thought Foggy Nelson, but
He's thinking about his friend Foggy.
oh, I see.
Is Matt Murdock Daredevil?
No, he's just
We
a
don't
lawyer in
know.
Hell's
He's
Kitchen,
just
actually.
yeah, he's just the guy. He's really good. You know, he should.
He's a nice guy.
He should be. Actually, never mind. So this handshake, it is video game related because they were wearing
The power glove?
power glove. Yes. No.
They weren't wearing the power glove.
They were, but I'm gonna say that's sort of an honorable mention. My number 5 is my number 5 is Simpsons Hit and Run. I believe I got that game in 2003, the holiday season 2003, and I remember this being a rare like, oh, you don't have to wait for Christmas Day.
Oh,
You can
really?
this was maybe like early Christmas Eve. Like, go ahead, open their gift. And Christmas Eve, I was just playing through the whole, just having a blast.
Just going nuts.
Yeah. Crashing everything as Homer Simpson in the classic Simpsons mobile.
And were
Saying
you already
dough.
a big Simpsons fan?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice.
Oh, yeah. I was a big Simpsons fan, but also a big GTA fan. GTA 3
I see.
specifically, and Vice City. So the merge of those two properties was just like, wow, this is amazing. Just like a kind of open worldish Simpsons game. Yeah.
So nice.
So that's my number 5.
Okay, great. GameCube for you or PS2?
PS2.
PS2. Okay, cool. Wonderful. That's a game I have never played. Well, shame on me.
Wow.
I know.
It's really good. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's on like my list of like games that like I don't need a remaster. I'll take a port as is.
Yeah.
If they would just put it out.
Yeah.
If they would just do it.
Gosh,
Please.
that would be sick.
There's so much fan service in that game. There's like all these cool collectible like trading card things that just reference all these specific like jokes from all the episodes. It's great. Yeah.
Fun
bet it would-
costumes and stuff. Yeah.
I think I would especially love it now because I've watched an amount, let's say, of Simpsons in my life. But this year, like, my tradition has been when I've made, while I make and eat lunch at home during the week, I watch an episode. And so I've been going through it, and I'm at the very end of season 8 at this point. So I'm like just fully into Simpsons, big time. Yeah, it's good stuff. Well,
Ay
July,
caramba.
thank you. Ay caramba, indeed. July, thank you, Matt. How about? Do you have a 1 through 5, or do you want to start with your number 4?
I'll start with. Yeah, I don't know if I have 5. I won't say that these are numbered, but we'll just start until I
cool.
run out. You know, I'm like you said. July said this thing about
Handshakes,
you know, and getting it early, and that sort of did remind me that somehow we were allowed to have our PlayStation 2 early.
Wow.
Before Christmas, but if my memory serves, we did not have any games for it yet. But We did have 2 DVDs.
Ah.
That was the early thing we could have first. And the 2 DVDs were X-Men.
Oh, yeah.
And Austin Powers 2.
The Spy Who Shagged Me.
The Spy Who Shagged Me. Yes. And so I remember watching those a lot, like up until Christmas. And then, gosh, what year did the PlayStation 2 come out? That was 2002?
2000.
2000. Okay, so
Yeah.
I did get it late. I didn't get it like that holiday season. It was probably like the Christmas after we got it. And then I don't even remember what game I got that year for Christmas, but I remember a couple of other Christmases that I have. But I'll say that first one was we got the PlayStation 2 early, and I got to watch Austin Powers 2 and X-Men a bunch.
That's so good. So we're just rewatching these movies.
Yeah,
over
Austin
and over.
Powers 2 like did have like a chokehold on us as kids, and like honestly still might. Like it's like I watched all 3 Austin Powers movies in a day at the very beginning of the pandemic.
Oh my God.
In that window of time where I was like, this can be over in like a couple days. I better while I'm here, I better watch all 3 Austin Powers movies in case I don't get the chance. And I was like, you know what? All 3 of these movies are so funny. They're so good.
They're great. They're funny.
They're so good. I'd make a couple edits, but on the whole, hold up pretty nicely. I'd say.
Were you talking about Austin Powers on Get Played recently?
It's probably come up a bunch.
Because someone has talked about this recently, and I feel like it was you.
It was probably me. Yeah. He's never far from my thoughts.
That's gorgeous.
But I do remember, like wearing out that DVD, like just like taking it to task.
Yes.
The case absolutely tattered today.
From you
I think I have it
furiously
here
ripping
somewhere.
it open.
Yeah. Just like can't wait to watch
That
the
was
opening
like,
scene where he's being all weird and naked.
oh, I love that. You're like just kind of barely not seeing his pee-pee.
Yeah, and you're sort of like,
Yeah.
what is going on here?
What a golden era. I mean, that was the era of like the DVD heyday, I feel like, when special features were expected and they were such a meaty addition to owning the movie. Like,
Yes.
gosh, I loved special features as a kid.
Me too, really. And I wish that was like more of a thing. I do buy physical media a lot still, and there are features that'll, they're more like now like sort of mini documentaries these days, it feels like, but it's never like I didn't get to see the Dune bloopers, you know what I mean? Like, where are the bloopers?
Yeah.
Give me the Dune. I don't care how serious the movie is. Give me some bloops.
Need that. Big time.
I think every serious movie should have bloopers.
I think so. Like, imagine just Timothée Chalamet being like, what the fuck am I even saying? All this stuff is crazy.
Yeah.
Your name's Duncan, Idaho? What the heck?
Yeah, they leave in him like just questioning the like logic of the movie he's acting in.
Yeah. He's like a sort of roast guy.
That's
Dude,
so
he's like,
funny.
what the fuck is this? This is crazy.
Holding a script in the scene.
Yeah. Can you
think
believe this?
If we can find a third way to bring him up organically, I think he might actually appear on the show.
Oh, wow.
Because that's
Okay.
twice so far. He's kind of like
Fun.
Beetlejuice.
I
in that
don't.
way.
I'm kind of afraid. I'm shy. So
Yeah.
let's like not.
Matt, I'll get his autograph for you. That's amazing, Matt. I love that one. PS2 early, but just DVDs. July, how about your next memory?
Okay, so my number 4 is Christmas of 1997, and this was the first time I ever met my birth parents. So this was, I just didn't know who they were for so long. And then when I finally met them, they not only were so nice and didn't look like me at all, which is confusing, because my adoptive parents actually look more like me. They gifted me an N64 with Ocarina of Time. And yeah, I just remember loving that game.
Now, at the risk of, just disturbing this whole podcast, I'm trying to see through if there's a joke here anywhere.
No, just sort of bearing my soul, being very honest.
Because every time July is honest and forthcoming, it's kind of like the boy who cried wolf. No
Hard
one
to know.
believes him. Yeah, so I want to be equally sort of genuine back and whatnot, but I'm afraid
Are you
of the
trying
consequence.
Are you trying to say I may be fibbing about a part of my number 4?
I'm not saying that
And you just don't know which part it is?
I know what part
the way
about that
he's
would be a
taking
fib,
it to
though.
task so specifically is kind of.
I would be surprised if you got Ocarina of Time a year before it came out. That would be the only thing that would surprise me.
Okay. You got it. I lied.
Okay.
I'm going to be honest. Hey, man, I lied.
Well, was that your memory, July?
I do remember getting Ocarina of Time. I just don't... What would... It was definitely not the year it came out. It was maybe the next year.
Maybe 99.
Yeah, because I do remember, and I'm pretty sure I said this on this podcast before, seeing my next door neighbor play it first. That was the first interaction I've had with Ocarina of Time, and just seeing what I thought were these adults playing this adult game, and it's just so vast and majestic. So different from the 2D side-scrolling Mario games that I was used to at that time. But yeah, when I finally got Ocarina of Time for Christmas, that was a big deal.
Huge.
And I kind of wish I still had the original case and packaging and stuff. I did years later track down the gold cartridge.
Oh, yeah.
So I own that now because I remember, I guess they did a reissue where they took out they changed some stuff.
Yeah, there's at least some of the music is different in the Fire Temple, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they changed Ganon's red blood to green
Yes,
alien
I think
blood.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, and so the original one that I had was a classic gray cartridge, but it did have all that. It was a version 1, so it still had the original music and the red blood.
Nice.
So yeah, that was a big. That was a big
what a
Christmas.
game to get over the holidays when you have all this time to sink into that too.
Totally, yeah.
That's amazing. Very nice, July. And the birth parents thing, that was true.
Point blank.
Yeah, I mean that was straight up a truth, but the lie was the year thing. Yeah.
Okay, well, hey, wonderful memory. Thank you for sharing it. Matthew, do you have another one lined up for us?
I do, because I remember asking for this and then being I don't know why I wanted this. The Nintendo e-reader. Do y'all remember the Nintendo e-reader?
I might have that still somewhere. Yeah.
I have it somewhere in this house, but it was this attachment, this thing that you would plug into your Game Boy Advance that had a card reader on it, and the cards had data on them, and sometimes they were a little game, or they would be a bonus for another game.
Yeah,
and I never really figured out what to do with it.
The Game Boy Advance, that era, had so many interesting and short-lived attachments for Nintendo devices, peripherals. The GameCube had strange stuff like that too.
Yeah.
The e-reader I never had, but I think you just did an episode on Super Mario Brothers 3. There were brand new levels for that game that were, I think, just e-reader exclusive.
Yes. Yeah, I'm reading here that there were 36 cards for that game. That they were just all new levels.
Whole 36 cards?
Yeah, they're in 2 series, I guess.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Wow. And just never really ended up using it, but you were like, this is what I want.
I remember like begging for it. Like I remember like this was probably around the time when I was still reading, like I didn't have Nintendo Power. I had Electronic Gaming Monthly.
Mm-hmm.
And so this probably featured in there somewhere. And I was like, I have to get this.
Yes.
I have to have this.
Gosh. That's
And
so
I also had the black Game Boy Advance that was exclusive to Toys R Us.
Whoa.
Okay, cool.
And I made sure that, like, I think from a Christmas before, I saved like my money and like my gift cards or whatever until I could buy it, and I did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang, what a journey.
Huge.
Amazing. July.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to pivot to you for your number 3, I believe.
Yes, my number 3. So this was at a time where my belief in Santa Claus was very great. And actually, I might say it still is pretty great, but this was at its all-time high. I just loved Santa Claus. I loved everything that he stands for and
Okay, he's just trying to get on the nice list. I feel
portrays it. Maybe, but I do mean this. I do love
I'll
Santa.
take your word for it.
And so this year I got the double Christmas gift. This is a very rare thing because I would only usually get like one big choice of a video game that I would ask for Christmas. And this was a double header of GTA San Andreas and Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door.
Oh, nice.
Man, the world is just your oyster at that point.
Oh, yeah. And at that point, oh, God, I'm getting choked up. At that point, I had just maybe finished Vice City or was playing a lot of it, so I was really super hyped for the new installment in the series. But Paper Mario was the real standout, the big like surprise for me, because I found myself really enjoying my time with that even more. And that one is still kind of up there in my like not only Mario game tier lists of all-time favorite Mario games, but just like favorite RPG games of all time.
Thousand-Year Door is amazing, and as much as I love the first one and Paper Mario, I mean, and I think it's a more like pure product, I think that the second one just improves on everything in that first game, and is that's like a meaty experience.
Yes,
Talking about meaty experiences this whole pod.
I know. Yeah, so I was just lucky that that Christmas morning Santa was able to just like hand those to me himself.
Very nice. Did Santa wrap your gifts growing up or no?
He did, actually. He did. He would use like saran wrap. It's sort of a rush
so
job.
It's kind of not ideal.
No,
it's like, why
spoils
do
the
this? I can
surprise.
see through it.
Yeah, I can see what it is. It's also a little bit more annoying to open, but it's a thought that counts.
Did anyone else's parent have the exact same handwriting as Santa?
Actually, yeah. And now that you talk about, now that you say that,
Kind of weird,
yeah.
huh? Interesting.
Funny thing was that in our home, Santa, we knew it was the Santa gift because it was the one that wasn't wrapped. So like there'd be like a prominent gift that was unwrapped that as soon as you walk into the room, you can see and you know that's your Santa gift. So we never got. He also didn't leave notes either.
This is why you asked if Santa wrapped your presents, because Santa didn't wrap yours.
Yeah, he was like, this kid's not worth the time. I will say though, at the age where I was, my faith, I'll say, was being tested. One of the things that really cued me into it, where I was like putting more pieces and evidence together, on my cork board, was
you were making a case,
yeah, was finding out that like other
you were
kids,
becoming monk.
Pretty much, yeah.
Here's what happened.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, I was. I
Get
found
this
out
milk away from me.
Yeah, don't need this. That Santa wrapped other people's gifts, and I was like, interesting. July, do you have a favorite GTA?
It probably is San Andreas. I mean, that and Vice City to me were like the two big ones I played the most. But I just love the story of San Andreas more, I think, and the new abilities, like you're able to just like work out or just like pig out and just like get really huge, and that kind of affects like the way you run and walk around the world and stuff. And swimming, I think, was added to that. I don't think you can swim in Vice City.
Oh. So no swimming with the fishes, huh?
No swimming. Well, maybe, but not in the way that you would want. Yeah.
Very cool. Matt, let's hit your next holiday gaming memory.
I have this very specific memory. I won't get into all of it because I feel like some of it's not fun. But there was like a Christmas where we were like displaced for like a quick second, and we had to go live with my grandma. And I remember that being just like a crazy thing we had to deal with, like on top of it being almost Christmas.
I bet.
But I remember that Christmas I got Jak 2, and I was like, the game's about to fucking change, dog. I was like so excited, and I put so much time into Jak 2, and it was just like such a, like, I loved Grand Theft Auto also, but I loved a mascot platformer,
yes,
like, more than anything. And this having both those like elements was like, that was such a good. I loved Jak 2 so much.
Is that the one where he's like badass on the cover?
He's badass. He has a gun,
yes,
and he talks within the first 5 minutes of the game, and he does not talk previously.
Yes. Incredible. Do you remember getting to spend time with it that season as well? Or was that dicey?
I remember, like hooking my PlayStation 2 up to like my grandma's TV and just going absolutely ham on Jak 2, and just being like, I probably didn't finish it right away, but because I was, probably like 11 or 12 or something, and like bad at games. When did Jak 2 even come out?
Oh man,
Jak 2 came out.
The first one was 2001.
2003. So yeah, I was at this point, I was like 13. Sheesh.
The prime age to become a badass, just like Jak.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, actually, when you put it that way, yeah. And I remember, because it came out in October. So this was actually a notable gift because I didn't get this when it came out. But as for me getting games, this was like as close as you could get to it coming out. I was like, this came out in October. This is like this is a brand new game.
Yes,
we're talking about here, and I have it just 2 months after it came out. This is huge to me. So I remember being like, I'm unstoppable.
Yeah,
this is it for me. I was like, that was like such a great. I remember, despite it being sort of an iffy situation, being like, Jak 2 is my whole life right now. It was so great, and I played it the entire time. Before I was like, I had to go back to school.
Yeah,
and then we got everything sorted out and everything's fine. But we were not at my grandma's house by the time that school started back up. It was just like a weird like
gotcha
between apartments sort of thing. But yeah, Jak 2 really filled that time. I'll tell you what.
And I know the listener's probably curious, so the answer is yes. We will be doing a special DLC podcast on the Patreon that's just diving into the details of what Matt went through.
Okay, yeah. It's going to be huge, actually. Yeah, and I'll bring some character witnesses. It's
going to be great.
I'll get a bunch of people on board. Talk to my grandma.
Oh, now that's the podcast I've been waiting for.
Yeah.
You said something about getting. Even though the game was like had been out for 2 months, it still felt so new, because that was like the reality for many of us as kids was, like nowadays, not only do we buy whatever game we want the day it comes out, but we make a whole event out of it. We several times
you and
this
I
year
will go to get a burrito.
Yes. And then go get whatever game we feel like getting. But back then, it was, I waited months for like the second Pokemon games, like Silver, waited multiple months for that in like a feverish anticipation. I think that only helped you appreciate it even more. By you, I mean me growing up. So I totally relate to that.
No, absolutely. I remember just, being like, I can't believe I'm playing this. Like, there are kids that I know that want to play this and aren't.
Yes. Yeah.
Because they weren't good enough to get it for Christmas.
No, they were on July's naughty list. Speaking of July, your number 2, pal.
My number 2 was a Christmas that changed all Christmases. It was the year Smash Bros. Melee arrived on the scene.
Oh, wow.
And it was just unimaginable how this could expand upon the original Smash Bros. And had a much bigger cast of characters. And also there was like this cool adventure mode where you can go through like the Temple of Time.
Oh my gosh, the adventure mode was so good.
Yeah.
It's like my favorite thing about Zelda 2 is that they use the Zelda 2 dungeon theme in that part.
Yeah, which, interesting enough, that was the first time I ever heard that theme, and it was until years later where I had to play Zelda 2 for one of these games clubs, and it was just a horrific time. Just truly, truly awful.
Were you just making a joke about how I wasn't listening to you?
No.
No? Okay, cool. I won't listen back to find out.
But I won't repeat what I said.
Okay, good.
I heard it.
July,
yes.
On the first time I did this sort of episode, I'm almost certain that Smash Bros. Was like the big reason for one of my top 5s as well.
It was huge.
Melee, I mean.
Yeah.
I remember my friend got it and a GameCube for Christmas. I didn't, and I had to kind of like I think it was Matt or someone was saying, Matt, it was definitely you. You saved up like your Christmas money to buy like a Game Boy Advance or something like that.
Yes, yeah, that's right. That
it was like me, but for the GameCube. So we talked on the phone on Christmas night, and he's just telling me every detail he can about the game and how amazing it is, and it started this tradition where the day after Christmas, one of us would always go to each other's houses afterwards. And we went to his because he had the GameCube. And so just had my mind blown. But I remember the graphics of the opening cutscene.
Oh,
absolutely just shattering my reality.
And just that orchestral music. And I mean, it was wonderful. Still probably one of the best openings in the Smash Bros. Line of games for sure. I mean, I played the heck out of that thing that whole holiday season, and for many years after.
Me too. It had so much to it, like so much to do, like the event. You remember the event matches that were like these specialized? Those are awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great one, July. Matt, I believe this is your last one that you have prepared.
Okay. Well, I actually remembered.
Great.
I remembered another one.
Well, then please.
But this one, this one is remarkable to me, and it is one that I think about a lot because of how unexpected it was to me. I remember it was probably, when did the King Kong movie come out? The King Kong movie came out in 2005.
2005?
Yeah, and so the video game came out in November. I think alongside the film.
Amazing.
And for Christmas this year, 2005, I was given the game by my aunt. And my aunt did not ask me if this was a game you'd be interested in. Did not ask me if I liked the film.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of went to Target, saw that there was a King Kong video game, and was like, I'll get this one. I'll get my nephew this game. And let me tell you something about this game. It fucking rips, dog. It is it is so good. It is a first-person survival game. And it is you play the Adrian Brody character, and you're trying to survive Skull Island.
Wow.
You know, just like the events of the movie, basically. But this thing, too, I had it on PlayStation 2. I think it was made for... It was
made for a bunch of
It was made for a bunch of
platforms.
systems, but Xbox 360, I remember having just a little bit more juice than the PlayStation 2 at that point. PlayStation 3 not out for a couple of years at that point. But I remember being like, how is this even going to work on the PlayStation 2? It's out for the next one already. It's out for Xbox 360.
Yeah, for real.
And this thing pushed the PlayStation 2. It looked great. It looked really good, and I just remember being like, this game rocks. And it also has segments of the game where you play as King Kong and you can fight dinosaurs.
Love
And
that.
it rules. It is really, really good. And it was like the first game that I remember playing where I had to... where like inventory management was part of it, where like I had to like figure out like, I guess not inventory management, but like scarcity, you know, like the idea that you could run out of bullets or spears or whatever, and still have, you know, part of an encounter to get through without dying. I remember being a newer concept to me, but I loved that. I loved that game, and it was such a risk as a gift, but I think it really paid off, and I loved it, and I still think about it fondly. It's a great game.
It's so nice when that works out the way that it did, and not the usual route, which is like someone, like, at least as a kid, I remember occasionally getting something like that too, and being like, oh, this is one of the worst games I've ever played.
Yes.
But you got the King Kong movie game, which is like renowned for being great.
It has it's a very solid game. Like, I'm looking at the scores right now. It has like 8s across the board. It's not like it's like this huge like all timer, but like for this type of game, it's like remarkable that it's good. And it's great. I remember really, really loving it.
July, do you have any experience with this? Because I've never played it.
No, I've never.
No.
I've had a few experiences with like that era of kind of film adaptation video games, and I think after a couple rentals from Blockbuster, I kind of learned that maybe I should tend to avoid some of them after a certain point. I was just like, yeah, I like the movie more, and this just does not feel like the movie that I love.
Right. Very rare that the game is better than the movie.
Oh, big time. That's some good stuff, Matt. July, I believe we're at your final holiday gaming memory.
Yes. So for my final gaming holiday memory, it's the year where I killed Santa Claus.
July.
And thus I became him.
Okay.
What? So you're on your own naughty list?
I'm on my own naughty list because I've been Santa all along.
Gosh, I have so many questions.
Okay, shoot.
How's your son?
How's my son?
Yeah, is he getting into trouble at school still? Have you started dating his principal?
He's doing better.
So you're thinking about the second film only.
I am kind of like moving forward. I assume some time has passed.
He's doing better. He's actually become friends with Jack Frost, which is Marty Shorts. Marty Shorts is Jack Frost.
Is that the third one?
It is the third one, yeah.
Okay. Never saw that.
Yeah, but I did, I did have to step down as Santa this past year. Is
it because Casey Wilson called you a bitch?
Yeah, I was going to say I said some nasty things to Casey Wilson, and I'm so sorry. I apologize.
Okay,
no.
So you're more of like literally Tim Allen as you. Did you kill Tim Allen and become Tim Allen too?
I did.
Zoom's canceling most of that out,
I
but
know.
I get the gist. Yeah.
You'll hear it in the edit.
Okay,
yeah.
so no, obviously I'm lying once again.
Got me again.
I got you again.
Oh, wait, I'm just putting this together.
I got you again.
I'm just putting this together, Connor. July Diaz. July Diaz.
Oh no!
And finally, someone has caught on
Oh my
the
gosh!
true nature of breaking down my first name and has figured out that's what I've been doing this whole
Been
time.
sitting right in front of us. If it was a snake, it could have bitten me.
I feel like a fool. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and if you were Indiana Jones, you would go nowhere near their snake because Indy doesn't like snakes.
Speaking of Indiana Jones,
Anyway, here's my true number one. I kind of mentioned this, I think, before we were recording. Matt's little background here of Kingdom Hearts Christmas is definitely falls in line with this, which actually that's the second one, but I'm going to talk about the first Kingdom Hearts game.
Yeah.
Specifically the trailer of Kingdom Hearts, the one that played on was just broadcast on television. I remember seeing that a bunch before the holiday season, and it was just like, what is this? At this point, I knew of like Final Fantasy VII, so I was aware of Cloud popping in there. I'm like, who is this? Cloud's in this, and all these Disney characters, and this new character that kind of looks like in the style of Final Fantasy. Like, what is this game? I must have it. And so I just that as a whole probably pops up as like one of the better Christmas gaming memories, because ultimately when Christmas came around, because I just talked about this commercial for so long to my parents, like they finally were like, they got the hint that I wanted this game.
Huge. Oh
Like,
man. Yeah, this is a game that the both of you have a lot of love for. This is like probably if you two were to rank your favorite franchises, I bet this would be high up for both of you.
Yeah, I mean,
I think so.
If you caught me on the right day, might be at number one.
Sunday?
Wow.
If you caught me on Sunday, I'd probably say it was number one.
Okay. I'll catch you on that day then.
I haven't. Catch me outside. How about that?
Okay.
Where is she, by the way?
I don't know. She's on the naughty list.
Yeah,
You know that.
of course.
Her name is Bobby.
Bobby.
But I got Kingdom Hearts 2 for Lent is my big story with Kingdom Hearts 2.
Ooh.
I didn't do video games for 40 nights and 40 days, my dear, and my reward was Kingdom Hearts 2.
Whoa, man. I yawned right in the middle of that.
Yeah, sorry to bore you.
I couldn't even respond. I couldn't
Wow.
fight it off to respond. What an undertaking, though, Matthew.
It was
40
hard.
days and 40 nights and no games. Would I do that to earn it? Maybe as a kid I would do that, but nowadays I'd be like, I'll just go get it.
Wait, why did you do that?
I think well, my part
to
of my
to last longer at playing games? I just don't understand. Why would you do that?
Very clever.
Yeah, I think I was trying I would like think about video games, so I wasn't sort of like not playing them. I was sort of like just like edging video games, kind of.
That makes sense.
Thinking about backyard baseball.
Thinking about backyard baseball, thinking about, WarioWare, Touched, thinking about all sorts of games. The two ones that we can think about right now.
Chainsaw Lollipop.
Yeah, Chainsaw Lollipop, thinking about Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball, thinking about the Guy game. Yeah, all sorts of kind of crazy games.
The Guy game. Wow. That actually was my honorable mention on holiday memories of like one of the first big just unified, like it was a gift not only for me for Christmas, but like for the whole family, and we all played it.
You all sat
really
around the
touching.
fire and played the Guy game?
Yeah, we like because I believe that was on PlayStation 2. We got the GameCube out, threw it in a fire, got around that fire,
Okay, yeah, that's cool.
and then played the Guy game.
That sounds just lovely, July.
The reason I did Lent was because part of my family is like religious, and they were like, "You should like do that too." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever."
Oh, I
but
see.
I really wanted Kingdom Hearts 2, but I knew that like I could just not play games. Like I was like, oh, I'm not really even playing a game right now. The game I want to play is Kingdom Hearts 2. I'll just like watch TV and like just did that instead.
Yeah, sure.
Sick.
Yeah.
July, anything else you have to say about that holiday or playing the game?
Of Kingdom Hearts, it just I sunk a lot of time in it. I just was enamored with the story. That's why I still kind of like just. I mean, later, editions of the series, it gets so crazy and nuts that I myself can't even explain to you what actually happens. But that first one, it just has like its own piece of media and story. It's very beautiful, and I remember lending that game out to a couple friends and cousins, and they also had like a really like impactful just like the ending really hit them hard, and it's just a beautiful story, and it's also like you got all these Disney freaks in it. How can you not love that?
Truly. Have you gotten your hands on a Sora amiibo yet?
So no. So this is truly like a devastating sort of a holiday thing that I'm going through right now is, that famous holiday story where that guy has to work during the holiday season, and that kind of a Scroogey guy won't let him go home to his family.
You're referring to Bob Cratchit?
Yes. So I feel like that where
Bob Cratchit Goldthwait?
Yeah, so I
in
feel
a
like
Scrooge adaptation, I will say.
That's right.
I feel like Bob Scratch in the sense that like I just want this pre-order for this Sora amiibo. It's the last Smash amiibo I need for my collection, and I can't get this thing. It keeps selling out.
Gosh, well, I hate to bring this up, but I know that a certain someone on this podcast did secure one last week.
Whoa.
And I know he probably doesn't want to make you feel bad, but...
Yeah, it was really tough, and I had to download an app to, like, alert me when stock was being refreshed, and I missed out on it probably, like, 100 times before that.
Yeah. What's this app? StockX?
No. What is it called? Let me look.
Sora Finder?
Sora Finder. Yeah, there's like a bunch of like young Soras in my area.
Careful on that app.
Yeah, that's
I meant
I don't like the wording there that the app is giving. Yeah.
I meant single.
I guess single's the best word choice there, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the app is called.
Did you already clear it from your phone?
I took it off my phone immediately because the app is like looks like a little flame.
It looks like
a little
the Tinder
like red
app.
flame. It looks like a Tinder app, and it's just very sus to have.
Bunch of MILF Soras in the area.
Yeah.
Well, July, we got to find a way to find one for you, pal.
Of course, yeah. I'm also I'm keeping an eye on the usual suspects. Wario
Do you
64.
have all the amiibo, the
Smash amiibo?
Do you have all the Smash amiibo?
I'm missing like a handful, but for the most part, I have everything. I think I'm missing like both the Cloud, because there was like they were doing that where they were doing alternate costumes. I'm missing those. I'm missing Bayonetta, and I'm missing one or two of the Final Fantasy. No, the not Final Fantasy, but
Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem characters.
Wow.
Yes.
I slacked you the app.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Gorgeous. Well, July, thank you for sharing your final holiday gaming memory and
Of course.
and those in general. Matt, I believe we've got one last one from you to finish us off.
So this was a huge one. And this was I'm having a hard time placing the years. They're all from like the same sort of like 5 years.
Sure.
It feels like, but they're all like, and they're all kind of the same generation too. But
Generation X. Degeneration X.
I wonder if that's what he meant.
I think that's what I meant. They're all sort of from Generation X.
Okay.
Yeah, you remember Suck It?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whew,
Sort of
what a
like how your
time.
parents shook your hand.
It kind of was like that. Wow. Yeah, I didn't think of it. Yeah, it was exactly like that. I was sort of sucking it before it was even made popular.
Your thumb, the rest.
You've always kind of been a trailblazer, July. I will say that.
This final one, I was definitely I don't know. I was probably like 15. Okay. And I was too old for this type of surprise probably, but it absolutely worked and I loved it. I remember getting, I wanted Guitar Hero so bad and I wanted it and I wanted it and I asked for it. And I unwrap a game and it's Guitar Hero the game. But just the game. And I was like, oh, this is nice.
I guess I'll play it with the controller.
I guess, I mean, I'd like the controller, but if you could just get the game, I probably wasn't as nice. I didn't throw a fit, but you know how like you don't know what to do in situations like that?
Yeah.
And you're sort of like pretending it's okay, but like inside you're devastated.
Yeah, you're disappointed.
But like you don't know what to do, so you just like, no, this is great. I thank you so much. Merry Christmas.
100%.
But I found out there was actually one more gift,
The one more gift trick,
and it was behind the couch the whole time.
Oh, with a Columbo gift.
Yeah, one more gift.
Yeah.
Here's what happened. Here's what happened.
Okay, nice.
And it was, of course, the Guitar Hero controller right behind the couch, wrapped up right in front of my dang eyes, and
Sort of looks like the Guitar Hero controller, but you just couldn't see it in that moment.
It was like in the box. I just didn't know that it was like behind the couch. It's thin enough that like it would fit. It was, the couch wasn't necessarily like flush against the wall.
Sure.
So there was like a nice Guitar Hero box gap. Yes.
It's okay if you're colorblind to guitars.
I'm not though.
I'm saying it's okay.
I know, and it's fine. I agree with you. It would be if I am, but I'm not.
Fair enough.
And I remember being so stoked and being like, okay, but why did you trick me? Because then, you feel bad because you don't want to be like ungrateful. And you already know that like getting a game is like a huge deal and like it's not cheap, right? It's like a pretty nice gift. But I got it and was like, you know what? Maybe Santa is real.
That'll do it.
That'll do it.
That'll do it.
You just rock out all Christmas break.
Rocked out. Wish they had Jingle Bells on there. Wish they had Rocking Around the Christmas Tree. Wish they had Santa Claus is Coming to Town on there. No Christmas songs on Guitar Hero. I wish they had at least Santa Baby.
Baby, it's cold outside.
Baby, it's cold outside. Just kind of those two.
That makes sense.
The only kind of ones that I like, yeah.
I know that this is like a all-timer for you. You talked about this game on episode, I think, 3 or 4 of this podcast.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like, and you know what? That feeling is back right now. I don't know if you've been messing around with Fortnite Festival.
Just through you, my friend. Just vicariously. July, have you done this?
No, I don't even know what this is.
So Fortnite has added a couple of modes as of recently. They added Lego Fortnite, which I also messed around with a bit, and it rocks. It's basically Roblox or Minecraft. And I guess it's more like Minecraft.
Okay.
But Lego in Fortnite. They added Rocket Racing, which is the Rocket League developers made a racing game for Fortnite, and that's a home run. It's so much fun. And Harmonix made Fortnite Festival, which it's basically Rock Band, and people have found code in the game that implies that there will be plastic controllers, instrument controllers yet again, sold just for Fortnite.
Wow.
And there are tracks you can buy with V-Bucks and stuff, and I've unfortunately already bought some tracks.
What'd you buy? Jiggle Jiggle?
I bought...
My money don't jiggle jiggle, it folds?
I bought that. I bought Gangnam Style. I bought What Does the Fox Say?
Wow.
I bought Can I Smell Your Dick? I bought
the Whisper Song.
Yeah, the Whisper Song. All the hits.
That adds up.
That's amazing.
I bought a Bill Clinton prank phone call.
Oh, that
they had that on there.
They kind of had that on there. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Okay, so can we stop for a second?
Hold on, I just want to. Oh, what?
Oh,
I'm doing lying
too.
I did sort of what July did, and
man.
I know it's pretty close to Christmas, and that kind of thing is pretty dangerous this time of year. But I hope Santa's sort of solidified the list already. I hope I'm in his good graces already.
Wow.
But what were you gonna say, July?
I forgot.
I did buy Buddy Holly by Weezer. It was one that I did buy for real because I was like, I have to own this, and I know that I don't actually own it, right?
Yeah, I remember now.
Mm-hmm.
I just was when I first found out about Bill Clinton making prank phone calls, I was just so amazed. That's it.
Oh, that he just had time to do that?
Yeah.
And be the president?
Busy guy, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you could say that again. He was pretty busy.
He was pretty busy.
Pretty busy.
Yeah, you could say that again. It's kind of crazy stuff.
Matt, thank you too for bringing on holiday memories and sharing that final one with us. And with that, boys, ho ho ho, that's gonna freaking do it for the episode. We made it.
It
it didn't quite work as well as my intro when I said ho
under
ho
ho host.
Oh yes, that was pretty good, and that was on the cut. I'll have you know I didn't plan that. That's just kind of like what you get when my brain is just firing on all cylinders, comedy wise.
Oh yeah.
And you know what? Before we started, just a little peek behind the curtain. Connor said, "We're gonna go an hour," and I just sort of knew that was just impossible with me in July. I was like, "There's just no way."
Yeah.
There's absolutely no way that that's happening at all.
It's true.
I'm not
mad though. I'm not mad. I didn't have to be anywhere, but this did work out great. Thank you two so much for joining me today on this special episode that maybe I'll bring back with 2 other guests next year because you guys are fired. Holiday Gaming Memories Part 2
what the hell?
is in the books.
What the hell?
I'm kidding. You're not fired, but hey, it's tough coming up with 5 of these.
You're absolutely fired.
Oh, that's pretty good right there.
Clinton.
Yeah, that's a really good Clinton. On our way out, though, fellas, if you'd like to plug anything, I'm going to give you the time to do that. July, what do you want the people to know about? Where can people find you?
I want people to know about a podcast that I hold near and dear to my heart, specifically 2 episodes. It's the Roast of Mario and Roast of Donkey Kong episodes of Video Games, a Comedy Show. I have nothing to do with them. They're just a blast of a time. Check those out.
Speaking of Paper Mario, I believe Ms. Mouse is on the Mario roast. Is she not?
She is, and might I say, one of the greatest performances of all time for me to just hear. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, July, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to you, pal.
Oh, Merry Christmas, salutations, Godspeed.
Let us know if you get on that
bless
nice
upon
list.
You. I will let you know. Yes, thank you.
And if you get that Sora amiibo. Matt, thanks for being here, buddy. What do you want to plug on your way out?
You know what? I'll plug Get Played. We're over on HeadGum now.
That is a HeadGum podcast.
This is a HeadGum podcast. And so you can check that out.
Is that you doing that? Is that you?
No, but it's pretty good, right?
It sounds exactly like it. Yeah.
What if I just clipped out the official sound effect and put it in front of mine and just didn't say anything?
That'd probably be weird.
Yeah, it probably would.
I don't know if it's legal.
I don't know if you want to deal with the legalities of
what
that.
What would come after that? Yeah, Jake and Amir breaking down my door.
Yeah, I don't know if you want Amir sort of knocking on your door and being like, "I wish you wouldn't do that."
Yeah, probably don't want that.
I
but
wish you wouldn't do that.
Yeah, it sort of would be like the scene in Killers of the Flower Moon where toward the end, you know what I'm about to say, Matt.
When De Niro's like, I wish you wouldn't do that.
Exactly.
I thought you were gonna say it was like from like when The Big Lebowski, specifically the TV edit, when John Goodman's like, "This is what happens when you find a stranger in the Alps."
I was not gonna. I don't know.
You don't know this part?
It's been forever since I've seen that film.
So there's a part when he's hitting the car.
Yeah.
And he says something else really bad language.
Oh, I see.
In the regular version, this is what happens when you blank a stranger in the blank.
I know exactly what you're talking
I
about.
see.
Yes.
In the TV version, he says, "This is what happens when you find a stranger in the Alps."
That's a pretty fun workaround.
Pretty nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense, but it's
No.
good.
So you got Get Played over there at
Get Played
HeadGum.
over there. Get Animate on Patreon. We're wrapping up the year there, and we're in 2024. At the start of 2024, we're starting a new series. We're watching Pluto over on Netflix, and Pluto is very dark, a sort of dark take on Astro Boy, on an Astro Boy story, and it's very good.
I was going to say, speaking of Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, is it starring Mickey's dog?
Yellow Dog? Yeah. It's starring Mickey's yellow dog.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, tune in.
Well,
TOON.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's nice. Well, listeners, if you don't already listen to Get Played, go over, find it wherever you listen to podcasts. You just got to tune in. And as for me,
TOON.
That's right.
I'll go ahead. Of course, that's implied. I'll close this podcast out with some plugs of my own. You can find the Call Me By Your Game podcast wherever you listen to yours. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can find us in any podcast catcher. If you're listening on a podcast catcher, check us out on YouTube. We got a great channel where a video version of this episode lives too. We're also all over social media on all platforms. When I say that, I mean Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky. The cover art for the podcast is done by Glenn J, who's on Instagram at Glenn with 2Ns.JAY. The show is produced, edited, and the original music at the top is by Jeremy Schmidt. You should check out his podcast, Video Games, a comedy show, to give him a little thank you for the work he does on this podcast. I'm on social media at Connor_McCabe on Twitter and Instagram, on Blue Sky at Connor McCabe, and on Twitch at twitch.tv/cons is cool69. And if you don't already, and you like the content that we make here at Super NPC Radio, and you like hearing me talk to people about video games, check out our Patreon. We're over at patreon.com/Super NPC Radio, where at the start of the year, you can support us for as little as $1 a month. Tiers above that, you start to get bonus podcasts like our Games Club, which is going to be at the $5 tier moving forward. And if you like the game, ever heard of it? It's called Mass Effect. We're going to be covering that for our first quarter of the year in 2024. So,
wow.
If you want to listen along, there'll be a preview in this feed eventually, but the whole series will be available at our $5 DJ Toad tier. So it should be a blast. But that'll do it for this episode of Call Me By Your Game. We will see you on the next one.